Good afternoon. I wanted to offer myself as somebody that could help people who are making major financial decisions. Many people make huge financial decisions, buying houses, cars, going to college, and never really talk to somebody who doesn't have a direct stake in that purchase, right? So they talk to bankers, they talk to financial advisors, they talk to college loan admission officers, financial aid officers, they talk to realtors, but all those people make their living by us giving them their money in one way or another. It changes the way you see things, right? For better or worse. We could be an amazingly nice person, but that doesn't mean that on some level we are going to act or try to persuade somebody in our own best interest. And so having somebody who's not directly involved but is somebody that maybe you trust is really helpful, even if they just ask questions, which is what I would see my role as. What makes me qualified? Nothing particularly, other than the fact that it's been a personal hobby of mine for like 6 years now, reading books on personal finance, listening to a ton of podcasts on personal finance, trying to apply what I learn in personal finance podcasts and books and things like that in my own life, making lots of mistakes, seeing family members make good decisions or make mistakes, and kind of trying to learn from them. And so if you're interested in just writing an email and saying, hey, I'm considering buying a rental house and here's my situation and what do you think, I would be someone to say, hey, what's the cash flow on this property? What do you anticipate happening in the neighborhood of this property in the next 5 years? How long are you going to keep this for? What's the major objectives? Have you, like just asking questions to how to help people think about it in a different manner. I feel like that would be my role. And so if you are interested to give you what I think give you whatever I can in terms of advice. If I don't know, like you asked me something about like a C Corp versus an S Corp, then I'll just say I have no idea. I would Google it. One last thing that I'll say, I think that the need is greater now than before. But anyways, it just seems like more and more you have people who kind of thought that they were okay and were kind of used to like a culture of like the government will kind of like look out for me, and there's sort of these protections and safety nets, and they're kind of discovering that they're actually not there. And so we need one another, right? Like I need you and you need somebody else, to help you, and maybe that someone else is me. That came out kind of funny. And so it's an awkward topic, right? Money is awkward, and we think about money as being really personal, and like I don't want you to know how much I make or how much debt I have or the fact that whatever. It's sort of shame, and so we kind of bury ourselves in the dark. We should be, if we could be more open about money, and it actually would help us in a variety of different ways. One last thing, I know I said the last thing before, but financial packages are actually way more complicated than they used to be. Although this is probably a sign of fraud. That's what Michael Burry in The Big Short said, that as contracts become more complicated, then it increases the ability for people to be fraudulent, right? And that makes sense because Wall Street has this idea that their things are so complicated, therefore only they can understand them, and we should just like go along with whatever they say because they're really smart and we're really not. And probably the reality is that they are really smart, but in complicated contracts you can sell a lot of BS to people and they won't know the difference. So anyways, that is truly the last thing. Again, I would love to help. I don't really have a dog in the fight other than I would just like to be helpful. I'm not going to steer you toward one thing or another. So the next time someone comes up to you selling you an annuity, tell them to beat it. Or you could tell them that you will contact them later after you talk to a friend about what it is that they're selling you, and I'll tell you to tell them to beat it. And so, anyways, love doing these things. I appreciate the fact that you are watching this. Take care, and I hope to hear from some of you. Bye-bye.